This is the plaintiff, Catherine. She says she and the defendant started dating, and 5 months later he hit her up for a big loan because he had storage fees he had to pay off. She didn't think anything of it because they spoke of marriage and all that mushy stuff. She comes to find out the defendant went to Atlantic City soon after and blew the money gambling. Bottom line, she ended things soon after and now can't get him to return her $2,000, the amount she's suing for. This is the defendant, Michelangelo. He says the plaintiff had recently come into some money, gave him the $2,000, and everything was fine. A few weeks later, she tells him she no longer wants him to move in, and she wants her loan back. Loan? What loan? She said it was a gift. He's accused of taking a lady friend for a ride.
Okay, you've asked to be referred, both of you have asked to be referred to only by your first names. Catherine, you are suing Michelangelo for $2,000 that you say he owes you as a result of money that you say was a loan to him. Your defense is that it was a gift. Talk to me. Tell me what happened, Catherine.
Okay, we started dating back in December.
Okay.
May 12th, I loaned him $2,000.
Okay.
We had plans on moving in together the beginning of July. We were going to be engaged, so on and so forth. We were not. We
that was
did
pretty
not.
Quick.
Right. Exactly. Well, I did. We befriended each other before, so.
So you'd known each other how long before you started dating?
A good year and a half, 2 years. He had very good reputation, so on and so forth. So I went by what people had spoke about him. In May, I loaned him $2,000.
For what?
To pay off some bills that he had. He said
because he had a bunch of bills, he was in debt.
And not only that, but for moving, storage, so on and so forth. You know, when he came into my household on a clean slate, so on and so forth.
Okay.
Now, yes, it's true. I made a decision to hold off on the move because, like you said, it was kind of quick.
But what happened? Tell me what happened. You give him the $2,000 goes from you to him.
Right.
And then what goes wrong in your relationship?
Okay, that was in May. At the end of that weekend, I decided, you know, we had a little discussion and I told them, listen, let's hold off. You know, summer's coming. We could dedicate some time to my children. It's for them to get to know you more, so on and so forth. And if everything is okay.
Is that why you stopped him from moving in?
But yes.
Are you ever going to tell me about Atlantic City like you did in your complaint?
Yes, I am.
Start talking. What happened?
Okay. The week after, he sneaks off
the week after you tell him I don't want you to move in yet?
Yes, he went that Wednesday to Atlantic City, and he gambled the money.
Okay, now how did you find out he went to Atlantic City?
He snuck off Wednesday.
Okay.
Okay, Wednesday night. I had no idea where he was.
But you're not living with him. You were in separate places, obviously. And so how did you find out he wasn't...
Well, I was worried. I was trying to call him on his cell phone, so on and so forth. No answer. Thursday afternoon, he had no other choice but to tell me that he went to Atlantic City.
How did he tell you?
He texted me.
And what did he say?
He was on his way back to Atlantic City.
Back from?
From Atlantic City.
So he went overnight to Atlantic City with who?
By himself.
Totally by himself?
Totally by himself.
Do you believe that? Or and then you jumped, after that, that was it? You didn't want to be with him anymore?
No, I let that one slide.
Okay.
The next week after, again, he went to Atlantic City, but this time he let me know. I was like, fine, there's no problem. You want to go? You need your time? Fine, go right ahead, go.
Okay.
The week after that, he hits me, he calls me on the cell phone. He's like, I need to ask you for a favor. I'm like, go ahead and ask me. And he comes, he didn't know how to tell me in words. So he's like, listen, I got a call, let me take this call. He sends me a text message asking for an additional $400.
For what? Atlantic City?
No, because he supposedly forgot to pay his daughter's student loan.
Okay, dude, what's going on?
Well, unfortunately, first place I'd like to say it's a pleasure being here, unfortunately, under these circumstances. But
that's usually how people are here, though.
Yes. This is a lie, unfortunately. It turned out to be a situation where...
Did you go to Atlantic City?
Oh, yeah, I go to Atlantic City.
No, but I mean, did you sneak off, quote unquote, to
Well,
Atlantic
I didn't sneak off because we were not living together. And before we met and during the time that we were talking, she knew that I have a tendency to go every so often. My mother went there for 20 years and passed away. And to me and her, that was her spot. And I go every so often to the same spot.
So you do it out of honor to your mother? You go
well,
to
it's our location. It's our hangout spot.
Hey, you want to go?
Right.
You go. But I mean,
absolutely.
When she says he snuck off, Why does she feel like it was sneaking? You didn't tell her beforehand?
Why? Because she's over-obsessive and she has a fatal attraction, and she's the type of 40-year-old or 42 who texts her boyfriend 20 times a day and leave 8 voicemail messages a day. My daughter says, Dad, I don't even text my boyfriend that long.
Okay.
So it's a miracle. I mean, it's already a pain that she constantly texts me that way, but we were not living together, and she knew that I go every so often. I was upset.
Were you disappointed that she said, let's not move in?
Yes.
Okay. Did you
she
think
put
you
me
were
in a
going to marry
hard
her?
place, Judge.
Did you think you were going to marry her?
Well, she had me convinced, and, you know, I haven't done that type of involvement or relationship since my wife passed away. She
How
died
long
of
ago did your
leukemia.
wife pass away?
About 23 years now, and I raised my daughter alone since that, successfully, thank
You
God.
look way younger than that to be possible. Okay,
Thank
and
you,
then,
ma'am.
so, but did you have plans to marry her?
Well, she got into my
you have
head
a ring?
pretty quick.
Did you have a ring?
I put a down payment, $200 on the ring.
You actually did.
So she convinced me that it was easier to move in together because that way we can put our incomes together and save money, and then that we could move out. I said, okay. I talked to my landlord. My landlord agreed to let the apartment be re-rented. And then all of a sudden she changes her mind and says, oh, you know, I think it's just not happening. It's too soon. She convinced me to do all this. I've never done this in years. I've always had my own place, my own apartment.
She says that that the $2,000 went to you as a loan. That you were always going to be paying her back. That's
Never,
what she
ma'am.
says here in court today. What do you say about that?
She won a settlement, or she actually borrowed against the settlement. And she knew already I was having trouble with certain bills, but I'm always on time with my bills as opposed to her problems and her bills. But
Well, you're not
She
always
said-
on time because you just said you were having trouble paying some bills.
yeah, but not to where I'm behind. I'm just, you know, certain things I need to catch up on and didn't have enough money to do so. So she said, I'll give you $2,000. And I said, you know, I really don't want to do that. She agreed and said, listen, that's what relationships do.
How much was
They
your
help each
settlement?
other out. I'm sorry?
What was the settlement amount?
I'm not sure. I know that within a 6-month period, she's already collected $18,000 and don't know what she did with it. There's no place. She got $6,000 from her taxes. $4,000.
Can you just give me like a general idea? I don't need details, but like, what was like, what portion of your settlement did you give to a guy you were dating for 5 months?
So if you loaned your boyfriend or girlfriend money and they blew it on gambling, would you give them a second chance, or is that a deal breaker? Would you break up with them?
I would say that's a complete deal breaker. It's a reflection of what they're going to do in the future and not something that I would want to be a part of.
Well said. What do you think?
I agree with her. Plus, that's a lot of money.
It is a lot of money. Break up or not break up?
No breakup. I don't think so.
$2 grand?
Well, yeah, that's way over. That's over. But I think you should talk about it.
Yeah, talk about it and say find somebody else. Go inside the courtroom.
No, I'm just asking. Was the settlement 100,000, 500,000, or 6,000? Like
No,
what?
it was
more?
10,000.
10,000. Okay, and
10,000.
so you gave a fifth of it to him. Okay, and what
And
was
it's
that
actually-
for? Was it a car accident? What was it?
It was a slip and fall accident.
Okay, slip and fall. Now, so she gives you 2,000 with the premise being that you're supposed to use it on bills. What did you use it on? Atlantic City?
No, ma'am.
Okay.
I got upset over the fact that she changed her mind. I went out there to
How much
release
money did you lose in Atlantic City?
about $500.
Okay, so when is it her premise is that the money was to be paid back to her always, like when she gave it to you, it was
Never.
something you were going to pay back.
I
And
even
your
have-
premise is no because.
It was a gift. She gave it to me to help me out.
Do you think he has a gambling problem?
Yeah, because according to him, he has VIPs, comps, and the whole 9 yards.
Yeah, you don't get that from.
Exactly, from going from
Right.
1 week or
So
whatever.
did you change your mind about him because of that?
No, actually, I changed my mind because he also has a verbal abuse problem.
I read
When
that there's text back and forth where here you're both claiming to, you're like, you're supposed to be a man of God. Apparently he's religious. And then he's texting things where he calls you a hoe, and you're texting nasty things back to him too. It's really so strange, that you had this nice relationship that you thought was going places. That at one point, according to you, he even took, your children by the hand and told them how he would never hurt them because
Right.
they've had some issues in their lives with prior boyfriends of yours. I mean, it was all so promising. And then you fall into the same old habits of verbal abuse. And you're not like totally innocent. I think his to you were worse than yours to his. I also am surprised at the tone he struck in this courtroom. I really expected him to man up a little more and to come in here with a little more, Judge, it was a gift, it was a loan, I loved her, I'm sorry that it didn't work out. And she has problem paying her bill. It's sort of like, I'm not like her. She's had, it's, I see it. And maybe you made the right decision. But here's what I got to decide. I got to decide what it was at the time you made it, not what it became after you were angry. I have to decide on the day the 2,000 transfers from her to him, okay? Is it a loan or is it a gift? You yourself say, and I'm going to quote you from your complaint, I wanted to help him out, so I gave him the money. At the time when I gave him the money, we did not discuss him paying me back. We were getting married, so I never thought along those lines. I know exactly how this happened, the way it happens to a lot of people, women or men. The money transfers because you're boyfriend and girlfriend, you think you're building a life together. And then you decide, I don't like him, I don't like his verbal abuse, I don't like his sneaking to Atlantic City all the time, whatever it is you decide, but that doesn't change something that was a gift into a loan. My verdict in this case is for the defendant.
Just hold on right there, please.
Well, let's see what the plaintiff has to say. Were you surprised when the judge came down and ruled against you there?
Yeah, a little disappointed, but it's lesson taught, lesson learned.
What'd you learn?
I shouldn't DTA, don't trust anybody.
Well, didn't you you were ready to marry the guy a few minutes ago.
No, actually, a few months ago.
Yeah, right.
Exactly, because of his reputation and the way he is, godly reputation. It is what it is.
So did you rush into a relationship?
You could say I did.
All right, head right down this way, okay? All right, come on in here, sir. What's your feeling on the outcome here? Put yourself in her shoes.
Well, unfortunately, she befriended me. She convinced me to get involved in this relationship. I haven't been in a relationship in years, and I feel like, New York should just watch out for that face, because she's good at trying to put people in her web. She is a black widow spider, and there's more to this story that hasn't been told here today.
Harvey?
Okay, Kurt, you know what? If you're in a relationship, it may be uncomfortable, but it's all the more important. If it's a loan, get it in writing in some form. That will do it for this case. Litigants, for the next case on the way into the courtroom right now.